ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 8 here around sunny Spain for F4 in RSF1. Now, as you can see, we are jumping straight into Q2 because there wasn't enough drivers that have attended this race to do Q1, so I didn't think there was any point bringing it to you. So as you can see, and as you probably know if you drove this track, it is a one-stop, medium to hard, and if you're not qualifying in the top 10, it's always tempting to go hard to medium, but you would be very, very slow off the line, and regarding a early safety car, it kind of screws you over, so it's better to go medium to hard. As you can see, Desborough has retired because he does have a quali ban for today. Kachal goes top, Trick 2 Pines is second, Scotsman, who is suffering with the COVID-19, shall we say. I don't know if I'm going to get my video taken down for that, but he's suffering with COVID. Hopefully he can do alright today. Our championship leader, Lincoln, goes P2, but at the moment, Millsy, the guy in second place in the championship, is outside the top 10 and would be out of Q2. He needs to do something here to push himself back into the top 10. Can he do so? And it looks like he can. He's gone to P2. Kachal retires because he's miles ahead. Source now, trying to do a lap, has yet to set a valid lap. And he's on his final lap now. The time has run out. Immortal, LA16 Ham and Desborough all out. Can Source get himself out of the danger zone? Coming through the very tight corner. He goes slightly off track and he's invalidated. RSF1 Source is out of qualifying as well. He will not be progressing in TQ3, which means Immortal, LA16 Ham, RSF1 Source, and Desborough 123 are all out of qualifying here in Q2. Now, favourite for the pole position, you've got to go with Lincoln at the moment, who is setting his lap right now in front of us. Comes around the final corner, does a 1:16.786. He is 5 tenths faster than anybody else. What a lap that is by Lincoln. But as I was saying, you've got to go for Lincoln because he has topped Q2. He did, I think he topped Q1 as well. But he is flying at the moment. Scotsman now coming around the final corner with 4 minutes left on the clock. Where can he put himself with this lap? P2 on the front row of the grid at 1:17.255. Now it's Millsy, who is so far down the order right now. He needs to push himself a bit further up. What's he going to do with this lap? And it only puts him to P8. Millsy's in trouble here. He could be starting down in P8 to RSF1 Lincoln starting up in P1 on pole position. And as you can see now, Cornet Star, last week's race winner and pole sitter, coming around the final corner now. Where's he going to put himself with this lap? It looks like a decent little lap, and it was good. 1:17.1 puts himself on the front row. Now RSF1 Millsy, who has been on a okay lap. Can he gain any time in the final corner? He's very quick through that final corner, and he comes to the line and he goes third. 1:17.218 puts himself P3 on the grid, and that has us a very entertaining start to the race. We've got the championship leader in P1. We've got the guy closest to him, 3 points behind, RSF1 Millsy, starting in P3. Scotsman is in P4 for the AlphaTauri team. Obviously, Cornet Star, last week's race winner, starting in P2. Fishsticks has got the pace to win a race. Button's got the pace to win a race. Trick 2 Pines could. Mike is a newbie here. Bizarre Mike in the Haas. He's a new driver. Old Manzi could win a race. And Arsha from Conchel could win a race as well. So it's a very, very good grid this year in F4. And as you can see now, we're running through the grid. You've got TYG Rogue, who's joined the session late, starting at the back. He's normally not in the Redbull, but it's put him in the Redbull because that's the fastest car. I can't remember what he's in. Maybe it's the Ferrari. And then you got Desborough 14, RSF1 Source 13, LA16 Ham in 12, with his Williams teammate Immortal starting in P11, as you can see there. Then RSF1 Kachal starting down in P10. You'd hope for a bit more in the future, but he's a quick driver. He can probably get through the field. Old Manzi in P9, and then Bizarre Mike, who's somehow got himself disqualified on formation lap starting in P8. Trick 2 Pines in 7th, with Button, who was RSF1 Button last year, who is now Button 22X, starting in 6th place for Aston Martin, with Fishsticks and Scotsman, who are also disqualified on formation lap in 5th and 4th respectively. Then you got RSF1 Millsy starting in P3 for the Haas team. Cornet Star, last week's race winner, starting in P2. And starting in P1, RSF1 Lincoln, who leads the championship by 3 points. I did not include the championship this week on the video, which I apologise for, but it will be back for next week. Now we gear up to the 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go! Here for the Spanish Grand Prix as LA16 Ham jumps the start, so it's already gone really bad for him. He hasn't even gained that much of an advantage because he probably tried to hold himself. But we're going 2 wide, 3 wide at the back. As you can see, the 2 leaders go through. Cornet Star does get the jump on Lincoln. He does lead the race now. Lincoln is in P2. And then side by side everywhere else. Immortals now last. The Williams cars have had a shocking start. Source trying to find his way through, but look at that start by Rogue. Rogue is already up into P10 or 11 now. What an amazing start. He's going around the outside, he's going down the inside. What a dive bomb that is. He gets 2 cars. He goes down the inside of Button and Trick 2 Pines and gets them both. What a move that is. He is flying from 15th on the grid. TYG Rogue has already got himself into P8. What an amazing launch that is. As we have a little look at LA16 Ham, who obviously has his drive through to serve, which he'll probably serve maybe at the end of lap 1. Poor mistake by him. And Source now trying to find his way back through the field after he had a, shall we say, interesting start, because I think he went forward at the stop, and Mike's in the wall! On his debut here in RSF1, Mike has gone off the circuit and ended up inside of a wall. No front wing now, and he's just got to peter around and see what he can do. Now Source going very racy down the back straight, but he's got someone behind him. Desbro now closing in on Button. Can Desbro go down the inside of Button? Good slipstream down the inside, and as you can see in front, Rogue and Trick 2 Pines battling, but Desbro does back out of that move. Now Trick 2 Pines is all over the back of Rogue after obviously Rogue has gained all those positions on the start. So RSF1 Source looking racy as well. LA16 Ham obviously served his drive-through. Mike's got his damage replaced as well. And Old Manzi now slowly closing in the back of Kachao because Kachau's stuck behind Fishstick. But sector 3 we got a yellow flag. And Mike has had a glitch. I can tell you now, he's had a glitch and it put him out of the race. But now you can see side by side Kachao and Fishsticks. Side by side, really rough racing between the two. But Kachao just about gets the move. Very, very aggressive driving, but that is one more position for Kachao. He started 10th, he's now up into P5, and he is slowly gaining on the front runners. A lot of people say Kachao should be winning races in this tier. I completely agree with them. He's a very quick driver, and you can see Rogue down the inside of Old Manzi, but he does go deep and gives the position back, rightfully so, as we get a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, and it's Source and Immortal. They've come together, good friends, and they have managed to somehow come together here, and that is a little bit unfortunate. There's not a lot you can do. Now we jump now forward to lap 6. You can see Lincoln following very closely behind Cornet Star, and you've got Scotsman following very closely behind the two of them. It is a close battle now. You've got the front 3 very close and basically pushing each other. Rogue, who has had an amazing start to this race, has now had a spin, and I don't know if it means he's got damage, but there's no visual damage, so hopefully for Rogue's sake there isn't any actual damage, so he's just going to continue and see if he can fix what he's just caused. And now we jump onto the next lap. Lincoln still behind Cornet Star, and you can see Kachao down the inside of Millsy. Millsy doesn't fight it too hard and lets him go, and Kachao is now up into P4. He is absolutely flying. 6 places gained from the start. Now Trick 2 Pines going down the inside of Old Manzi. Or was Old Manzi attacking him? I think he's going down the inside of Old Manzi, and it makes the move stick. And Old Manzi now is behind Trick 2 Pines. Now we have a yellow flag. Rogue is out. Rogue! Wait, hold on. How has he managed to get himself to crash that far off the circuit? He is miles off to the side. I don't know how he's got there, but there's no way of seeing him. But Rogue is out. Obviously no safety car will be needed because he's so far off the circuit. As we now jump on board with Scotsman, who is following very closely to the back of Lincoln, who is following very, very closely to the back of Cornet Star. There's a very, very, very even battle between the front 3, and you can see in the background, Kachao is slowly closing in the gap now to join the battle, but he's made a bit of a pig's ear of the chicane, but I'm sure he can find the speed back. He just lost loads of time. Little mistake through the chicane. But now Lincoln just sits behind Cornet Star. He's biding his time. He's got the pace to go if he wants to and make a move. But I just don't think Lincoln's going to make a move this early in the Grand Prix. He's just sitting there for now. Kachow's trying to close that gap. But Millsy gets a penalty. The first one of the championship contenders to get a penalty. Source obviously has a penalty from early on in the race. But Millsy, a man that doesn't normally pick up the penalties, now has one. Now we have a yellow flag. Scotsman! No! You can see him in the background lose control, and he's gone into the wall off the corner there. It's so easy to do, and has brought out a safety car. Now everybody on the entire field, the entire grid should come into the pits now and pit for the hard compound of tyre. Problem is, Immortal is on the hard tyre already. So Immortal, this is really bad news for him, because he can't take mediums to the end from here without losing a lot of grip at the end. But everybody else should come into this pit lane now, strap on the hard tyre. They don't need to do another stop at all. And then they'll go into the end and they'll be very quick. As you can see, everybody is following that rule. But Kachow is on the soft compound of tyre. Immortal's around! Immortal pitted for the mediums, and he's spun and gone into the wall and lost his front wing. That is awful for Immortal. The only thing he can hope for now is the safety car stays out for an extra lap if he stays behind. As you can see, he is going extremely slow because he knows exactly that. If he stays this far behind the field, it should create another lap, and it has done. So he's in now, and he's going to pit for another set of medium tyres, a new front wing. He probably won't make that same mistake of accelerating to warm up the tyres through that corner. It's not the best idea. But mistakes happen. No one's perfect. We're all human after all, and this is a game where cars can be pretty unpredictable. So, yeah, you can't really say too much about it. Source now got himself back into the race. Also, LA16 Ham, after his early drive through for jumping the start, is back into the race as well. He's only 11th place, and he's quite close to the rest of the field. He could be coming in for points today. As the safety car is in this lap, Kachow has had a glitch where Jeff forced him to pit for the softs, even though he selected the hard, so it's a very annoying situation for Kachow. But it means if he can pass Lincoln and Cornet Star and gap them by about 10-15 seconds, he might have a chance to still win this race, because he'll pit for the mediums and he'll be very quick for the rest of the race. Now it's all about Kachow. What can he do? Cornet Star needs to get a very good restart. Lincoln needs a restart of good nature as well to keep Kachow behind him. But it looks like Cornet Star has had a good restart, but Lincoln has not. Lincoln has Kachow all over the back of him already, and I think Kachow might make a move down into turn 1. He's already side by side with the better grip of the final corner, going down the inside, and it's a lovely move there by Kachow. And Lincoln's down to third, but he's not going to worry too much because he knows Kachow has to pit again, because the soft tyres around here can only last about 5 laps at high speed, because the tyres get chewed apart around this circuit. And Kachow realistically needs to pass Cornet Star on this or the next lap and bolt. It's the only chance he's got to win this race. Now he's been put in this situation. It's very unfortunate for him, but he's a very quick driver, so he could do it, as we're just keeping an eye on board of everybody through this left-right, because we know how easy it is to lose it, but no one did. And now Kachow all over the back of Cornet Star. This should be the move now, and it's going to be. Already goes past and sets the fastest lap of the race, and Kachow leads the Grand Prix. Now, can he break away to the sufficient gap that he needs to then pit onto the medium tyres and not have too much time to make up? Now, that's a lot to ask, to be honest with you. As you can see on lap 16 here, he's already got a 4.3 second gap. As we're watching Millsy attacking the back of Lincoln. This is big for the championship. But Cornet Star is also being attacked by Lincoln. Lincoln's making an attack. He's attacking the defender here from Millsy, and he's done well. He's got past Cornet Star. And Millsy has Cornet Star now between him and his championship rival. But I say championship rival. Cornet Star, Kachow, Sauce, Fish Sticks, Button, all of these lads, Immortal, they can all battle their way into the championship contention very soon. LA16 Ham, we're not even halfway through. Next week's race will be the halfway point through this championship. So it's a lot to play for at the moment. Yes, 2 people are quite far ahead at the moment, but that can be closed in at any point. As we now look at Cornet Star behind Lincoln, he's thinking about a move potentially, but does not do so at the moment. And you can see in the background, Sauce is gaining on them, gaining bit by bit on the people in front. As Kachow is at 5 laps now, and I think his tyres are starting to vary away now. He's starting to struggle slightly because he's not catching, he's not pulling the same gap that he was before to Lincoln and Cornet Star. He is starting to lose the grip of those tyres, and here on lap 19 he finally comes in. He's come in, he only had a 5.6 second gap I believe it was when he boxed, and that's not enough. He's going to have about a 15 to 20 second gap he has to make up when he comes out this pit lane on those medium compound tyre, and he just needs to hope. As Lincoln is about to be passed by Cornet Star as we watch Kachow come out of the pit lane, and Cornet Star leads the race again. Lincoln P2, Millsy P3, as Sauce also is now 3 seconds behind. No, Immortal trying to attack Button down the inside, too wide, but he sits in behind him for now. He does use his ERS off the corner. He's going to see if he can dive down the inside and turn 4 down the inside. Immortal gives Button quite a lot of space, so Button decides, alright then, I'll take it. Button's come back down the inside, still side by side. They've been side by side for 2 corners now. Immortal trying to stay there, but he just can't make the move yet on Button. He's pulled in behind now. Button can have the corner. Immortal cuts back, and that was a lovely little battle. Good defending from Button to keep the position for now, but I don't think that's the last you'll see of these two. I think Immortal will probably have another go down the pit straight. He's just going to sit behind him for the rest of the lap. As you can see, closing speed down the brakes. Nearly went into the back of Button. And it's going to be a close battle between these two. Immortal on the better tyre, 6 lap old mediums to Button's 8 lap old hard compound tyre. Now Immortal is going to have to get a good run as we jump forward to see what Cornet Star, Lincoln and Millsy are up to. And it looks like no one's able to make a move. No one's close enough to make a move on each other here. Kachow gets a penalty for multiple warnings as Immortal is closing the gap on Button. He's trying to line up through here. As you can see, he takes a wider line in to try and gain the speed and get a good momentum through these next few corners. And he's going to get on the ERS. He's going to go for the same move again, down the inside of Button. A bit of contact, and Button defends it. That looked like that could have ended in disaster, but just about get away with it, the 2 drivers. And Immortal lives to fight another day. Button defends nicely. But now we jump to the next lap, lap 22. Immortal going for the same move again on Button. Is he going to get this done this time? This is 3rd time lucky. And he goes a lot deeper into the corner, giving Button a lot less space. Now Button goes for the cutback because he does run a little bit deep. Immortals get the inside this side. It's reversed from the previous time, and he does run him slightly wide. They nearly make contact, but he just about makes the move stick. Very forceful move from Immortal and Yen, but I think that was the only way he's going to make the move. But he does get a penalty after passing him as well. But now him and Button have penalties. Button has 6 seconds, Immortal has 3. So it shouldn't matter too much. He has finally made the move. And now we look at the battle for the race lead here on lap 23. It's looking like it's becoming a 4-way battle between Cornet Star, Lincoln, Millsy and Sauce. Sauce has 6 seconds of pens, Millsy has 3, Lincoln has none, Cornet Star has none. But we have to bear in mind RSF1 Kachow on the better strategy is not out of this race yet. He is still closing the gap. As we go on board with Sauce, he is thinking about a move on Millsy as soon as possible. He is flying, he does need to get past them, and he needs to gap as well, obviously because of his penalty. But Sauce is a quick driver, he can do it. If anybody can do it, Sauce is one of the ones that I would say can. But he is now trailing the back of Millsy. I don't know if he'll be able to make a move. Lincoln thinking about a move on Cornet Star at the front. He's gaining 2 tenths, 1 tenth. He's side by side now. Nearly some wheel banging from the two drivers. Turns in, but Cornet Star nearly spins. What a catch that is by Cornet Star. An amazing catch. I thought he was around there, but he's managed to catch the car and not lose a position. That's amazing. But Sauce into the braking zone, nearly hits the back of Millsy. No time for me to take a breath. I'm recording this just after I've done the comms as well for this race, so my voice has seen better days. I feel exhausted. There won't be any recording over the weekend, I don't think, because I need a break, if I'm completely honest with you. It's been crazy. But now Lincoln leads the race by 1.1 seconds it was when he was going around the final corner. So he has broke DRS to Cornet Star. Can Lincoln pull away? Lap 26 now. You can see Sauce and Millsy behind. Lincoln has lost a little bit of time. Cornet Star is gaining on him again through this technical section. And Sauce is off! Sauce is in the wall! No! Sauce, that's so unlucky. Big mistake for RSF1 Sauce. He was flying, but he somehow put it in the wall. Now he's got 9 seconds of penalties and last. That is unfortunate. As Lincoln's been passed by Cornet Star, we haven't caught that one at all. We don't know what happened, but Cornet Star has passed Lincoln and he now has a penalty. Everything is falling into the favour of Cornet Star at this point. He is just getting everything to just fall his way now. As Sauce has retired in the pit lane, Kachow does the fastest lap of the race, and Lincoln is still there. Kachow is gaining very, very fast on the drivers in front of him. He's 2 seconds a lap faster, so he will catch these drivers on the final lap of the race if he continues at that pace. He is flying. Now we have a yellow flag. I don't know what's happened. Sector 1. Desbro's around. Desbro's had a big error. Big mistake from Desbro. And Kachow's left the session. Kachow's left the session and his AI car's gone straight on. I don't know what's happened, but he's been invited straight back and he's dropped down to P7 because of that. That is ridiculous. That's so unfortunate for Kachow. But he is back in the session now. And that is just awful news. As we jump onto the final lap of the race, Kachow goes fastest lap again. Cornet Star with Lincoln behind him. They're just going around trying. Lincoln's trying to close the gap, but he's not going to be able to. He has a 3-second time penalty as well. So Cornet Star, barring no mistakes through these final few corners, will win here in Spain. He just needs to keep it on the track and he's going to do the double win back to back for the McLaren team. Cornet Star 2006 is your winner here in F4 around Spain. Back to back wins. Lincoln comes home in P2 for his third P2 of the season. A 4th podium. Millsy gets his 4th podium in P3. Immortal comes home in P4. Just about. Fishstick P5. Button P6. Kachow P7. LA16 Ham actually does jump up to 6th. Button gets P7. Kachow P8. The two Alfa Romeos switch positions at the very end of the Grand Prix there, because they did switch a few laps prior to have a go at the car in front. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed and you're new around this, subscribe for more. I've been Chris12LFC, and I'll see you later.